Before we start today's video, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank Miss Misa for covering for me yesterday. I also want to apologise to you for this being a little later than I would ordinarily upload on a Thursday, but after Drunken Uncle invited me onto the Ghost Poo, which is linked below, and I was quite drunk, I was unable to do any recording last night. In fact, it is 3:10 in the afternoon when I'm recording this now. So while I've been gone, I have been playing Magic the Gathering, where I played 6 games and I won 1. Oh dear. Dominaria sucks. I played Snooker, where I won a game and lost a game, and I only won the game because my friend fouled 6 times. Thank you for that. And drank a considerable amount of different whiskies. Oh, and some rums. I found out that Pirate Grog's coffee rum liqueur is actually amazing because it just tastes like coffee. When I get the £25, I'm buying it. A full bottle because I only had a sample. Now the subject of today's video is going to be about pornography, because that's awesome. And no, we are not going to be talking about the United Kingdom trying to legislate it so that people have to give up personal details so that they then have access to porn. Because as fascinating as that is, and utterly ridiculous, borderline draconian, and of course insecure as fuck, because let's face it, if you're going to give your credit card information to a company that you don't even know, how do you know they're not going to suddenly lose it? We are instead going to focus our attentions on Germany, you know, one of those lovely EU countries that has a surplus in their budget, so they're now spending money they shouldn't be wasting on a pet project concerning porn. So, Germany to consider educational state-funded feminist pornography to combat sexist stereotypes. I assume then this will give men more prominent role and possibly introduce equal pay for equal work, perhaps. Try say that with a straight face. Although there is a pay disparity, I will admit, since men are just objects and studs. They're just studs. This sounds like a massive waste of money. People's preferences, what are you trying to do, socially program them? Okay, so what are these sexist stereotypes? Well, it's great that you asked. They would include fat, skinny, young and old people. Well, we don't want to fat shame, we don't want to slim shame, and we don't want to be ageist in any way. How do you combat that, though? Do you just make it so that the only thing people can see are an orgy with this? Are we going to change the Bechdel test to include this now? I think you all know what I mean. I'm just being a dick on purpose, okay? The proposal was voted on by Angela Merkel's Socialist Democratic Coalition partners at a General Assembly in Berlin. The delegates accepted a proposal from their youth wing to adopt the idea of government-funded feminist pornography for educational purposes as part of their party program. I'm just going to say this now. Whenever a topic comes up and someone thinks that they need to slap the feminist label onto it, it never does that well. Look at movies. Hell, there was a feminist beer for a little while. It didn't do that well, because it turns out women don't really like beer as much as men, and there aren't enough cucks in all the lands to drink all that wasted beer. And I'm not sure how you make it feminist beer. I'm assuming what? Women pay less for it? I don't get it. In any case, I don't know why you need to slap feminist label onto pornography, because then you will soon discover you cannot socially program people to want to watch it. You can try, which will make you look even more manipulative than you already are. And I'm not sure how you manage to make something equal when you haven't talked about the one thing feminism is supposed to push for, and that's gender equality. The SPD, the junior coalition partner of Angela Merkel's Christian Democratic Union, is the biggest party in Berlin, where it governs together with the coalition partners, the Greens and the far-left Die Link. In the proposal, the SPD wrote, "Mainstream porn generally shows sexist and racial stereotypes in which consent is not a theme and certain optimal body types are made as standard." I would argue that we're not doing amateur porn, which would then show more natural body types. As you put it, people have rape fantasies. Those are a thing. In fact, they're very popular, including incest. And while you would argue optimal body types, I would argue they are actors, according to their IMDb's anyway. So your arguments don't really stack up anywhere near as well as you might think they do. In these films, sex seems more like a performance or competitive sport, as because it is a performance. It actually is. I feel like I'm trying to dumb something down that's obvious enough. Or competitive sport. Well, there are some people who are into that. How many guys can pork one lady in a certain amount of time? There are competitions for that, in fact. Hell, there was a competition to try and break the world record for the world's largest orgy. Everything seems to work right away. Well, I don't know if anyone wants to watch a guy trying to find a way to get his dick to go up, or a woman to be turned on. Either that, or you've just forgotten the basic premise of pornography to begin with, and that is to get the viewer off. It is remarkable how dumb this is, because Germany has a reputation. There's a stereotype. Germans like efficiency. They are very good at this. Look at the Audi. Some. And you think about it, the whole premise then would surely be to appreciate the fact that they are efficiently getting that person off, and by extension you, the viewer, if that is your particular type of pornography. There's no communication between the performers. You clearly haven't seen the prelude and prologue. No trying out. Well. Failure and trying out new things. Because, again, you are forgetting the very base premise of pornography. It is to get the viewer off. According to the SPD, it influences modern society in a negative way as youths have unrealistic imaginations of sexual life. Or perhaps they should stick a disclaimer at the beginning of all porn. Maybe have it say, just because the actors in this particular performance that you are about to wank to can get a hard-on immediately, does not mean you should instantly be able to do so, although as you are a young person, male especially, you should literally be able to snap your finger and get an erection. Oh, and you'll probably find you'll come quicker because you're very young and inexperienced. Hashtag spoilers. Socialist youth member Pr0n Hoffman, 20, is one of the SPD members behind the proposal. I'm assuming they're going to want to push for the idea of a guy struggling to get an erection. That would kind of defeat the point of how the men are treated within the industry, in fact, because they are studs. It's their job to be able to maintain an erection for a certain amount of time and fuck a certain number of people, and then have that grand finish on the woman's face. She said, in feminist porn, there are fat, skinny, young and old people. Some people are into that. There's already a massive market for chubby chasers. Skinny people getting done by massive guys already exists. Young people getting done by old people already exists. It doesn't need a feminist label. You just need to refine your search, which I believe a number of those pornographic websites have. So I would argue you don't need to introduce feminist porn, which no one will watch, because it has the word feminist in it, and instead just refine your search, or possibly push for sites to make those more prominent even though they're not as popular, as for example incest porn, lesbian porn, and I believe interracial porn with a tiny white girl. Cracker. The idea might have been inspired by Sweden, where in 2009 the State Film Institute spent £44,000 financing Dirty Diaries, a series of short porn films produced by female film artists. The SPD also proposes that German broadcasters buy some of those movies and offer them on their online media libraries. So how long until Germany introduces a porn license as well, and makes it so that no one can access porn unless it's through government-funded porn sites? Oh dear. Well, this has all been fun. I hope everyone has a lovely weekend, as I don't intend to put a video out tomorrow. I am, though, doing a PMQ stream tonight at 9:30. It is going to be the single funniest stream I have ever done in my life. I'm not sure if I'm going to focus on the Jeremy Corbyn questions so much, so I'm just going to focus on the SNP, who did something truly astonishing that I have never seen happen in Parliament. Oh dear, this is going to be quite something. I will link that in the description. So I hope you'll have a lovely day and weekend, and thank you all for listening.
Oh, goddowns.
Imagine my shock